Hey guys, it's Bastian time! Welcome to This Week in Zelda News. I'm your host Bastian. Let's get to those top stories. Our first story is about the Zelda Cartoon, the only one made in the late 80s. This cartoon has been released in several iterations, and this new release is just one single disc. And it has every episode from the complete series, and it's only $9. So if you've never seen it and you're interested, $9 is a pretty good buy, especially for just one disc. Now, a lot of people poke fun at the cartoon, and you know, it doesn't really represent the Zelda that we know today, but keep in mind, when the cartoon was made, there were only the first two Zelda games out there. There was, The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, so the cartoon developers didn't really have all of this folklore that we have now in place in the Zelda series, so I think they did the best they could, and it's kind of fun to watch. So if you need to add this to your collection, or if you've never seen it, now you can get it for only $9. Our next story is about some Zelda drinking glasses. Now, you could certainly use these for alcohol, but certainly if you're younger, you could use them for milk or orange juice or whatever. But in any case, they're now available for purchase, and it looks like the creator of these basically did a really nice job of etching into the glass a variety of Zelda symbols. There looks to be like a Majora's Mask one, the usual Hylian crest, the Sheikah symbol, so pretty awesome, and they're only $10 each, and they're pint size, so if you need some Zelda drinking glasses, here you go. Our next story is about cosplay. Now, don't worry, I don't tend to do a whole lot of Zelda news stories about cosplay. It's not something that particularly interests me, but unless it's really, really, really good, and I think that this is really good. So not only is it unusual for us to see a Midna cosplay, but a possessed Zelda from Twilight Princess. I don't think I've ever seen that before, and the detail that both of these ladies went to create these characters is pretty astonishing. So if you want to take a look at more of these pictures, there'll be a link down in the description below. Our next story is about a piece of fan art, and this is a really interesting take. Basically, the artist decided to reimagine a Link battling Ganon, the Beast Ganon, as if it were a classical Japanese, I think, ink painting. So it's really, really beautiful. I mean, this could easily hang on your wall, and most people would just think, wow, that must be some piece from Japanese mythology, but it's Zelda, which I guess is kind of from Japanese mythology at this point. Our next story is about a custom-made Nintendo 64 controller. This is a Zelda Gold Nintendo 64 controller with the Hylian crest on it, and I mean, it's really well done. This guy sort of has a shop where he creates all of these various custom controllers for the Nintendo 64. Now, I mean, maybe a lot of you don't even have a Nintendo 64 anymore. You've moved on to your Wii. You might not even have your GameCube anymore, but I've personally still got most of my Nintendo consoles, so I think this is pretty awesome. So if you still got your Nintendo 64 and you need a custom Zelda Nintendo 64 controller, here you go. And our final story is about what you've been hearing this whole time. You may have noticed in this video, and then in the last week's This Week in Zelda News video, a rock interpretation of I guess it's the Wind Waker main title theme. This is just one song amongst, I think there are 20 or something like that. This full-sized, very long album by this guy named Corey Johnson. What he decided to do was to create very interesting new arrangements that are based on the Zelda songs, but then he kind of does his own thing in each of these songs. They're still the Zelda songs, but they're reimagined as if they were in the post-rock genre. So if you're a fan of that style of music, and I absolutely am, and you've been yearning for something a little different than our usual Zelda metal or Zelda dubstep, this is a nice, welcome, fresh change. So be sure to give this album a listen. And the awesome thing about the way he set this up is he's allowing you to pay whatever you want for the album. So if you want to pay like the usual $20, certainly you can. If you can only afford $10 or $5, that's fine. And maybe, you know, if you don't have any extra money and you just want to download it for free, you can go ahead and do so as well. So free is a very good price. So, I mean, it's a great album. You should definitely give it a listen. And then also, this is the final week for Temple Quest. So if you have been following along through it, it's been this month-long riddle-solving adventure, web-based point-and-click scavenger hunt thing. It's all Zelda-focused, and we have some really great prizes. And the deadline for submitting your entry is coming up soon. It's going to be this coming Tuesday, or the end of this coming Monday. So you definitely need to play this if you haven't already. The link is down below. And see you guys for This Week in Nintendo News. Bye! Our next story is about some Zelda drinking glass. Our next story... Why do I keep doing this thing? Whoa! Here's my hand when I'm going to introduce the next story. Our next story is about I forgot. I need to look at this. Oh, right.